Welcome to the AudPod.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys.
So we have brought in a ringer today for
True.
the podcast. Dan just experienced his first ever OHL hockey game.
What a game it was.
And it was game 2 of the OHL finals against the Barrie Colts, where the Kitchener Rangers won 4-3 in the most butt-clenching of overtimes I've ever experienced. This is Road to the Robertson, episode 16. Dan, what was your experience?
I mean, it's a long time coming. I've never seen a major junior game in Ontario, so it was like, yes, there's a really important game going on, but also I'm just checking out everything that, like, all the lore that a team like this has in the OHL. So I'm like looking at the banners, I'm looking at the like just everything in a historic building too, right? The Aud that I've heard so much about. So it was like half watching the game, half watching the crowd, half watching all the fixtures, and like, man, that was just some really good hockey. Like,
just the best. I love playoff hockey.
Yeah, I mean, this is everything in a playoff game that you ever want, except of course, as we're Kitchener fans, it was a lot.
Well, it was a lot. It was a lot.
We'll get
to
into
take.
that.
It was a lot to take. They did do it in the most dramatic way possible.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think that game, when you look at like possession time, you look at the shots, you look at the chances, it probably could have been ended earlier. But once again, we saw Ben Hrebik just being Ben Hrebik, right? Like, this is just what he does now. You know, he's only 2 games removed from another 55 save performance.
Yep.
So this is what he does, and this is what Kitchener is going to have to do.
Yep.
And you know, it was a tight game. Kitchener was chasing him a little bit in the first half of the game.
We talked about that on the last pod, is that we knew that Barrie would take the time between games to sort of analyze how they could shut down Kitchener. And I think for the first 30 minutes of this game, they were very successful.
They did a really good job. And we talked about how they were permitting zone entries, right? And how there was a little bit of scrambling going on once they got in there, and that they really could only push out and box out towards the boards. Yeah. But in this game, they were attacking at the red line. And they did a really good job of breaking up zone entries at the red line. And I don't think Kitchener was prepared for that kind of attack in the neutral zone. And you saw that it actually created offensive opportunities for Barrie going the other way.
When has Kitchener ever faced a center line attack in the season, in the series, and anything?
Yeah, no, most teams just stand up the blue line and hope for the best kind of thing, right? And I think we saw that, and coupled that with, I mean, I just have to single out, you know, that defensive core for Barrie. Yeah. You know, obviously, Kashan Aitchison is the star and is the captain and is the leader, but like that whole defensive core was doing everything they could to make sure that Ben Hrebik could see the shots coming. And if they couldn't, they were blocking shots, and they were blocking shots like crazy. However, flip side, so were the Rangers.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. Carson Campbell, I think that was his magnum opus.
Yeah.
That was the game of all games for Carson Campbell. Yeah. Like, I hope he knows that, like, that was a masterpiece of defense.
Yeah, that Carson is like Campbell. They should teach that in hockey school and put it on the tapes on repeat in the hallways. And
Carson Campbell of Campbellford needs a statue for that one.
Where is the statue?
And the statue is him splayed out, breaking up the 2-on-1. That was the moment of the game.
Craziest poke check I've ever seen.
That was the tide turning moment. I don't know what happens in that moment after that moment, but because that was like, Barrie had so many, they scored on a 2-on-1, right? Their second goal. They were scoring off the rush. That's what Barrie likes to do. And obviously, Carson Campbell, I mean, he also scored a goal in this one. And this is not what he's known for.
No, but he's been scoring big goals this whole playoffs.
There's so many guys we can talk about, though. Cameron Reid
broke ankles left, right, and center.
Unbelievable. That was your first time, obviously, getting a good look at Cameron Reid. Cameron Reid went in the first round. Nashville traded up to get him last year. What'd you think of Cameron Reid, the captain for the Kitchener Rangers?
It's really cool to see. You know, I don't get to watch a whole lot of games, but I do get to see you two guys talk about a lot of these guys, and to see Cameron Reid to see Ando score in overtime.
Yeah.
It's like to see O'Reilly, like all of these guys that I've seen, proxy because of you and your clips and stuff. To see them in real life was really cool, and just you guys aren't just hyping them up. You guys are really accurately portraying what type of player these are in the league and what they could become at the next level. So
this is a special team. This is a special team. You're starting to go like, I know we're only 2 wins away from a championship, but like you really are going like this is a special group of players, right down to the role players. You're like, it couldn't happen without these guys. We saw it, in game 1 with Andrew McNeil scoring 2 goals. Yeah. And when we saw it tonight with Carson Campbell scoring a goal and with Ando scoring the winner. Yeah. Right? Like, and a
crazy winner.
We have to take credit for this.
100% I'm taking credit for this. My friend Leo and Anita sitting beside me. Yeah. Leo was like, it's going to be Edwards. And I was like, totally. Edwards could totally score, but I was watching Ando this whole game. Yeah. And Ando, like, if Carson Campbell was having the Magnum Opus of this game, Andonovski was having the Magnum Opus number 2.
Yeah, I know.
Of this game.
It was
those two.
He was jumping up in the play, not like he normally does. Like he can, and he does, but like there was an extra gear tonight for Ando. He was I call it sniffing around, and it was definitely happening for him tonight. And I remember that at one point, we kind of had this kind of like, Ando's playing really good tonight. Yeah. You're like, he wants one. I was like, I think so.
He hasn't done that this year. Like last year, Ando would take those shots for goals, but that hasn't been his role this year. Yeah. And tonight he was on it.
And and he was doing breakouts. He was carrying the puck out. I'll never forget that he hit that awesome heartbreaker celly last year on his overtime winner. Yeah. And we talked to him about it, and it meant so much to him. That like this goal tonight is everything now. Like he thought that was his biggest goal ever. Nothing compared to this one.
Nothing compared to this one.
So
this
pretty special. Huge. I mean, Christian Kirsch had a great game.
Yeah.
He
never looked shaky.
No.
There was never a moment. Obviously one's went in, but like this is the finals.
Yeah.
Guys are gonna score goals.
I mean, we have to talk about that. Obviously, with 3 seconds left, Kishan Aitchison tied the game. You could almost feel it coming.
You knew it was
they had
coming.
the 6-on-4. Unfortunately, Sherratt took a penalty that they had to call the double minor, right? When there's blood on a high stick, it's like it was probably one of 2 things that they were going to call.
Yeah.
That and delayed puck over glass. Like they weren't going to call anything else.
No, because they weren't calling anything this whole game.
No,
so
and I didn't have as much of a problem with the refs as some people did.
As most of our section.
Obviously I'm going to get into it, and ref, you suck, and it's all part of the game, and it's fun. Yeah. But like, as long as they're going to be like, you get a game, or you get a penalty, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, and then we're going to basically let them go. Yeah. Then I can handle it. It was heartbreaking, though, that was one that they had to call.
I think Eliasson deserved an extra penalty.
Eliasson? If I never have to see him play hockey ever again.
Yeah, I know. I'm go with that. The
I'm
6'7", 19-year-old is like a bully.
He's just a bully. He's pushing Hayden Ellis of all people around during like. Come on, man.
Humphreys grabbing Humphreys by the neck and pushing him into the boards. Yeah. And then they give him offsetting. I'm like, okay.
For me, Eliasson, I feel like it's going to be an O'Doyle rules kind of situation. Yeah. I hope I'm around when I see the comeuppance, because I think someone will tune him up for sure, because he does seem like that kind of a guy. But props to Aitchison, and especially Passmore, and some more of those guys that are just literally like guys that they played so many minutes. Yeah. Like it was crazy. Yeah. And they're playing against a stacked team. It was unbelievable hockey, back and forth.
Okay, the OHL released the time on ice minutes for game 1, and Kishan Aitchison was at 29:46. Yeah. Well, okay, we went into
Hemming had 27 minutes.
We went into overtime, so we played an extra 17 minutes tonight. How many minutes do you think Aitchison played?
Man, it was a lot. It was I
know. Right?
He was off staring at banners, so he didn't even notice.
I gotta think he played 40 minutes of hockey.
I think he played. Yeah, I'll say 35.
38 minminutes.
I'll say 35. You say 40, man. It's insane.
Yeah, we'll split the difference. He probably played 37.50, right?
Yeah.
37.30.
Yeah.
It was a crazy game for that. Obviously, this is going to take a lot out of Barrie. It took a lot out of the Rangers, but you feel a lot better going to Barrie 2-0 than being down 0-2. So now the Rangers can't get complacent. I think they got to get out and get on top of them because they were chasing them a little bit in that first half.
I think Barrie found some holes in the Rangers game.
Definitely.
And now, I don't think the disadvantage is as major in, when they played the Sioux, I felt like there was a little bit of like the Sioux was really good at line matching. I don't feel like that's as big of a factor in this series.
No.
Because I think the Rangers are rolling 4 lines and Barrie can't.
Yeah.
They can't roll 4 lines.
I agree.
And so when you take them to an extra full period of play,
definitely.
And they've played 7 game series up until like, it's got to be harder on them than us. Like, I don't know. We're going to lose. Like, is this series only going to be 4 games? I doubt it. But
I mean, you have to believe that a team that's gotten this far with that kind of resolve to come back 3-1 against Brantford of all teams, you think that they're going to at least get a game at home. But I also just wonder about fatigue, and I just wonder about coaching, the difference in coaching styles. I don't know, in the sense of he speaks really well in press conferences when he actually wants to talk, but Smoskowitz, truly, I could see him being able to fire up the guys.
Yeah.
But to me, there's just a different level of ease around the Rangers and just being able to see how they operate a little bit behind the scenes. I think that, UC kind of has them staying focused, but keeping loose.
Yeah.
There's still like a calmness, because I felt terrified in that overtime. But I kind of got the vibe from the team that they were pretty ice in the veins.
They're pretty okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was a game. Campbellford, Ontario. Please invite us to the statue
the
christening.
Coronation.
Yeah, we're happy to host.
Yeah.
If you need us. And any final words, Dan?
Last word to Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. The OHL is just a really special league. And I think thank you for introducing me, inviting me out here. And I think that if you only tune in at this stage, I think you have to watch the games on the major broadcaster just to check out this series. It's just such a different level of hockey that's being played, and man, it's really exciting. So if you have to catch these last couple of games. So there might only be 2 more. I mean, there will at least be 2 more. There could be an extra one, but I think
could be a bunch more.
I think these guys want to end it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are going on Tuesday.
We're going on Tuesday.
We're going to be there Tuesday.
Yeah. So I think if you haven't caught this team yet, I mean, you got a couple games still to do so.
And then there's
the recaps
season,
too.
and it'll be right back, and we'll have more incredible young hockey players in the OHL.
Exactly.
Yep.
There we go. We made an OHL fan out of Dan. There you go.
All right, let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers.
And also shout out to Ariel as the Waves.
That's true.